Sir, for today's event, we have received almost 500 plus registrations.
अच्छा.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
it seems and from जो कुछ दो चार नाम आ रहे हैं, they're across the country. कोई
Yes,
आंध्र
sir.
प्रदेश का है, कोई कहीं का है.
Yes, sir.
That's really remarkable. Actually, the topic is also extremely relevant, and the speaker is outstanding.
Thank you, sir.
तो दोनों का impact होगा इस वजह से.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning, Ayush.
Am I clearly visible and audible?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Ayush, sir.
very
Yeah.
both.
Thank you, sir.
Rohit ji, time is 2 p.m. so we can start.
Yeah, sure.
Let's start, sir.
Yeah, you can, but there's still 3 minutes remaining to 2 p.m. It's up to you. I have no issues. मैं तो बहुत पहले से logged in हूँ.
We can wait for a couple of minutes.
Yeah,
maybe
it shows
we can wait for a couple.
Yeah, I mean 3 minutes. It says 1:57 in my laptop. Maybe two minutes it remains.
प्रोफेसर उपदेश ये उन्होंने ज्वाइन कर लिया है डॉक्टर केलर ने?
किसने? नहीं, अभी नहीं करा.
मैं एक बार ही
I sir sending this slide from Fortis. So Dr. Claire will be joining in 5 to 7 minutes, sir.
Okay.
Okay.
In fact, we had set up the NEEV chapter in NCU some time back, but this is one of the first events that is being in fact organized, and we have assigned 2 students from mechanical engineering department who are coordinating the chapter. So Mr. Aditya Ranjan and Mr. Ayush. So both are very active.
Actually, this kind of an initiative requires people who are sincerely committed.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. I mean, this cannot be a very superficial involvement. It has to be an absolutely sincere commitment. And that's what I found in Atul Bal. He was almost very extensively. जो कई बार even almost going against the executive council of committee of the alumni affairs. He was absolutely. मैं कहता भी रहता यार तुम इतने कैसे बस passionate हो. It's good. It's really good. तो इस टाइप का इनिशिएटिव से ही काम चलेगा. There is no other way. तो हमारा टाइम अब 2 बज गए. अब up to you, right, to do whatever you wish to do. Now we are.
Sanjay Sharma ji, can you just update us? Like, can we start now, or should we wait for 2 to 3 minutes more?
What's the total number of participation so far?
Professor Rupesh, can you give us the number? Professor Rupesh, can you give us a number for the total number of?
It's more than 100 and all in the WebEx, and many are on the YouTube channel.
Yeah, I think this is good number. This is good number. Anyway, number of people registration is always more than the people who actually participate.
Yes.
So 100 is a good number. Very good number.
Yeah, it is increasing actually. It's now 114.
Yeah.
So
It almost increases every split second. That's what happens. Parallel joining.
Yeah.
Should I start, sir?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us for today's webinar on stress management for millennials. I, Ayush Kumar, student coordinator at NEEV NCU chapter, along with my fellow coordinator Aditya Ranjan, would like to welcome our esteemed guests, Padma Bhushan, Dr. T.S. Kalair, our Honorable Pro-Chancellor, Professor Prem Brat, our respected Vice Chancellor, Professor Nupur Prakash, our Dr. Updesh Verma, Coordinator and Trustee, NEEV, and Dr. Rohit Singh Lathar, HOD, Mechanical Department and Faculty Coordinator for NEEV here at the North Cap University. Dr. Kalair is currently working as Chairman, Fortis Heart and Vascular Hospital in Vasant Kunj, New Delhi. Dr. Kalair completed his MBBS from Medical College Patiala and MD in Medicine from UP and is now one of the founding doctors of Escorts Heart Institute, where he spent 28 years and was the executive director for the last 12 years of his stay. He is the founding president of Heart Rhythm Society of India, HRS. He has about 150 national and international journal articles to his name and has been on the editorial board of Indian Heart Journal. Professor Premrath is now to Professor Premrath. He is the chairman board of governors of Indian Institute of Technology, Dhanbad, with additional charge as chairman BOG of IIT Mandi. An outstanding academic, Professor Premrath is the pro-chancellor, professor of eminence and chief mentor at the North Cap University, Gurugram. Just prior to joining ITMU as the Vice Chancellor in September 2011, he was the Professor of Eminence at the Management Development Institute, MDI, Gurugram. Professor Vrath was Founder Director, IIT Roorkee, Vice Chancellor, UP Technical University, Lucknow, now known as APJAKTU, Lucknow. Professor, Head Center for Management Studies, Coordinator Applied System Research Program, Dean, Deputy Director and Director officiating at IIT Delhi, Professor and Division Chairman of Asian Institute of Technology, Bangkok. He is an honorary professor at IIT Delhi and distinguished adjunct professor at AIT Bangkok. He is AICTE Distinguished Chair Professor. He was Chairman, Board of Governors of WIT Dehradun, a constituent institute of Uttarakhand Technical University. Now, I would like to invite our Honorable Pro-Chancellor, Professor Premvrat, to say a few words of wisdom.
As our chief guest, Dr. K joined. No. Joined already? No. Then I'll include him in my. Okay. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, sir. We are able to hear you.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Distinguished participants in this session on national on stress management Millennials, being organized by National Education Enrichment in Villages, NEEV, NCU chapter. And I'm very delighted to be associated or present in this session for three reasons. A, this initiative is an IIT alumni initiative, and I have been an IIT, been associated with the IIT system for the last 60 years without a break, starting from an undergraduate student at IIT Kharagpur, postgraduate at IIT Kharagpur, and PhD from IIT Delhi, and a faculty for nearly 54 years at IIT Delhi, and now chairman board of governors of two IIT. So therefore, any initiative for IITians, because many times IITians are in fact taunted for living in their ivory towers and not connecting to the roots. And this is one such initiative which directly links the education to the roots where it ought to be, because unless education reaches villages, in fact, and I can feel for it, because I am myself born in a very poor farmers, family in a village very close to Ghaziabad, and I know that it's just the education which has made me what I'm today, and therefore this is a great, very great initiative. And I was aware of some of these initiatives with Atul Bal, who actually shares my. He's alumnus of IIT Kharagpur as well as Delhi, and so am I. And therefore, because of his very enthusiastic volunteering efforts in reaching to the underprivileged, unreached in terms of education, and given donating books and library, etc., is a great initiative. And therefore, I'm very happy that NCU has taken this initiative to join such a wonderful initiative, which indeed to me truly enriches the quality of life of the people in villages, because education is a major game changer, and I'm therefore very happy. The speaker, Dr. Clare, his credentials are extremely outstanding, and in fact, while Rohit was introducing him, I realized that he heads Fortis Hospital in Vasant Kunj, which is just opposite the road where I live in Vasant Kunj. Almost, when I tell people how to reach my house, we say the landmark is Fortis Vasant Kunj, and therefore it's a great thing to find. And maybe one day when I'm there, perhaps I'll have one-to-one. I'll drop in there. It's just across the road. That's where I live in Vasant Kunj, very close to IIT Delhi as well as. And therefore, the theme chosen for stress management for millennials is extremely topical, because millennials, as you know, are the people born somewhere around after 1994, or 2000. Now there are different kind of people, and therefore, as a result, you'll find that while they're tech savvy, in fact, a child of 3-4 years can play with the internet much more comfortably than I do at this age. And therefore, while they have enormous amount of knowledge, particularly of technology, but the side effect of that process of development and growth, that in my personal view, our children actually overgrow for their age, the way we develop them or we focus on. And therefore, as a result, there are enormous amount of potential stress amongst millennials, because perhaps their aspiration level, the kind of competitive process through which they go through, because even for getting admission in a first class in the primary school, imagine the amount of time, effort, they require some kind of a coaching, and even parents have to prepare for their admissions, etc. And therefore, because of these kinds, there's enormous amount of pressure and stress developed amongst millennials. And as you know, we cannot really generate a great society unless we de-stress these brilliant people. And therefore, as a result, I really compliment NCU chapter for taking such a wonderful initiative, and that too on a theme which is extremely important, because the amount of stress the current millennial kind of the population of our demography, and all the demographic dividend potential that we talk about would actually be a futile dream unless we can make them more productive, free from stress, so that they're able to make their talent. And in that context, it's an extremely wonderful topic, so that we are able to give a better quality of life and experience in teaching learning processes to our millennial population. And therefore, with this observation, I am truly delighted to be associated and look forward to Professor Claire's presentation, because not only in millennials is stress is a major common disease in all of us, including me. And therefore, I am sure even I will get some tips from the presentation of Professor Claire. And I really compliment the organizers and wish you a continued success in your journey. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for sharing these words with us. And to introduce NEEV initiative, I now invite Dr. Rohit Singlatha. Please, sir.
Thank you, Ayush. Thank you, sir, for giving such an informative session and inspiring us all. So now I would like to introduce our NEEV chapter at NCU, and I'll just give a very small brief about NEEV. So NEEV is one initiative of IIT alumni that is directed to build a possible solution for better education to poor villages and slums and national education goals, and ensure better education to the poor in India. So NEEV aims to provide poor who have access to reach education. So education should go to them, meaning that education should be provided to them in a certain way. So our mission is to make every Indian educated, aware of their duties, rights, make India and its people self-reliant. Our vision is, if the poor cannot come to education must go to them. With this, motto is to educate unprivileged and needy people in India. NEEV is spreading education in the NCR region, in villages and slum areas. More than 1,000 students have benefited from our NEEV initiative. Also, in the pandemic of COVID-19, NEEV is continuously feeding poor and needy people and has helped more than 2,500 families in the NCR region. NEEV has also collaborated with digital platforms developed by IIT alumni like Vidya, Solve It Now, and many more for spreading education at free of cost to poor and needy kids. I would also like to mention that Dr. Udesh Verma has also featured in one of the Man Ki Baat by Prime Minister Modi, highlighting the NEEV initiative. So I now give the opportunity to Professor Udesh Verma to highlight the important activities of NEEV that has been taking, so that all of us get some insight to what all important activities NEEV chapters have been doing around across the country. Over to you, sir.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Rohit, for such nice words and coordinating the NEEV chapter at NCU with very dynamicity. And thank you very much, Professor Fezulbaji. I have heard about you a lot of time, but I'm meeting you virtually this time. So thank you very much. So NEEV, as Dr. Rohit told, NEEV is a social education initiative of IIT Delhi, IIT alumni, and this is called National Education Enrichment in Villages. We are working almost like 3 to 4 years, but we have registered this as a trust in 2019, and uh, uh, are you able to see my presentation? Hello?
Yes,
Yes,
you can see.
yes,
You can
Dr.
see.
Udesh.
Okay, okay. Thank you. So these are the office bearers of NEEV, the very famous personalities. Sorry, I think there is a problem with just sorry for that. I am again sharing it. There is a this is a team of NEEV, Professor Dr. Veerpal Singh, Vice President, Advocate Haridat Varmaji is President, Shri Rajan Vaishnaji, Vice President, Professor Anil Kumar ji, Treasurer, Vijay Kumar ji, Joint Secretary, and myself, Coordinator. And there are like a lot of chapters like NEEV, NCO, NEEV, NEEV Fatehganj, NEEV South India chapter, NEEV Mumbai chapter, NEEV Kota chapter. There are a lot of chapters in which we are working. The NEEV, the aim, vision, and mission already told by Dr. Rohit, like if poor cannot come to education, then education must go to them. So this is our main mission. These are the some glimpse of our work in which we have done in COVID era in 2020, 21, and still doing it. We have one of our alumni, Dr. Bipin Kumar, who has developed triple layer marked called Kavach very first time in IIT Delhi, and we have distributed that mask to the people who need it very badly at that time. These are the pics of food distribution because some of the because due to the lockdown, some of the people got staying at their places and they do not have jobs and not money to feed them. So we have provided food at that time so that they can live their life. Also, this new education policy is encouraging online things and also coding classes for students. So we have organized online coding classes for especially the girls student at the Meerut, and 21 students have been selected in that, and that is a good initiative, and that student is feeling confident while after these classes. These are the various initiatives like ISTM is a government of India initiative, and we have organized various uh, lectures like Vigyan Ki Baat with ISTM, and this platform is also provided by ISTM. These are some glimpse of our webinars which we have done, and this is the also a very important thing. We have made a machine, UV sanitization machine, to kill the COVID virus, and this is undergoing the patent mode, and also this is in the market. And the very important thing about this machine is like within 30 seconds, if you put anything inside it, it will de-infect all the viruses, all the things from the material which is kept inside it. And with it is very low cost machine which we have developed, and we have also featured in Prime Minister's Man Ki Baat, as Professor Rohit has told. We have also meet various chief ministers regarding pollution, regarding Farali problems, and all the things. These are some of the news clips of our initiatives and webinar posters, which we have done in the recent past. These are the some chapters initiatives, and as Dr. Rohit told, we have gone online through and collaborated with the Vidya Education for free and quality education to the schools, and this initiative also run by our alumni, Dr. Gaurav Goyal, which is in the Mumbai. And these are the pics. Like we celebrate every festival like Holi, Diwali, Christmas with the kids who do not have even knowledge of these festivals, because they don't have the money, they don't have the proper things to live. But we went there to their places and celebrate that festivals with the kids, so they feel happy. And like this Christmas celebration also, like we encourage students to learn about science, like how a small toothbrush can be made as a robot, how we can, what is the science behind the bubbles, and what is the science behind the small things. So these things make these kids very happy, and they feel like confident. Okay, then we can also learn science easily. So these are the things which we are doing. These are the clips in the slum areas which we have started our classes. These are the some of the things like shoe distribution, health camps, summer camps, which we are doing. Like also, we are working on women's empowerment. So these are the some clips. These are the other educational apps which we have launched recently. This is the skill development center we have opened in Meerut for the women empowerment, in which more than 50 uh, uh, women are participating in different areas. These are the health camps, online webinars, and even like chief ministers and deputy chief ministers have joined our webinars. Various lot of VCs from the different universities have joined our webinar and appreciate our work. So these are the glimpse, and these are the some of the NGOs which we are working. So at the last, like do good to others, it will come back in an unexpected way. Like arise, awake, and stop until the goal is reached. This is our we have to keep in mind. Like life is very beautiful. So to see the real picture of life, we don't have to have only money, or not only have to have only bookish knowledge, but we have to have balance of both book and as well as all other sources, so that we can see the real picture of life. Also, like if there is no way, then one has to create its own way. And these are the like we also uh, think about Vasudev Kutumbakam, like सारा विश्व ही हमारा घर है. And thank you very much कि आप लोगों ने इसे सुना. And now over to Rohit ji.
Thank you, Dr. Updesh. So we have uh, Dr. Saab joining us. So he's already there. Sir, you can unmute yourself and
Yeah, hi, sir. Hi, Dr. Rohit.
yeah. Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hello.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hello. Hi, sir. Am I audible, sir?
Yeah, you are audible.
Yes.
Sir, I'm just handing over to Dr. Weber.
Okay.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Dr. Weber. Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, Dr. Verma, for nice session. Hello. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Hello. I cannot hear back anything. Is it okay?
Yeah, you are audible. You're audible.
Yes, sir.
Oh, that's great. That's great. First of all, thanks, Dr. Verma, for the previous session. I was listening to your thoughts, and it was quite interesting to know how the things are moving. So the thing about stress, I just want to continue on that. So about the stress management in youngsters. So these days, youngsters are very stressed about everything, be it their studies, be it their lifestyle or their families. So which is causing a lot of problem in their health as well. So they're more worried about their education, like what should the future, and we don't have proper counseling for them as well to say what should be the right approach for them. Even if you see a child of 5th standard or the 7th standard, they are worried about like what direction they have to move. Their parents are very aggressive that they have to go to multiple tuitions, multiple classes, so they have to learn this way or another sessions, but they are not interested in those things. So most of them are now like more into video games or internet things. So which is giving a lot of stress to the families as well as to their children. So first of all, we should have some sort of counseling at school level where they can be guided properly. What should be the right approach for them? After that, it's get a pressure from their peers. Like, yes, they have to move in this direction. Some, in fact, the peer pressure, they go into wrong habits like smoking, taking alcohol, and which obviously has some sort of side effects. Smoking, as we all know, and alcohol, as we all know, has several heart diseases, causes several heart diseases. So we should be trying to avoid those conditions at all point of time. Along with that, as we go into our job, so they have some sort of stress from their office that they have to move for, they have to do this work, they have to do. So there is no time for any other activity. They don't have time for themselves. So they are not able to take care of themselves there as a holistic in a holistic manner. Like all their mental well-being is not there. So they are more into just stress everywhere. So we should have some sort of thing like where these things can be optimized. We should have some sort of sessions from them. We should have some counseling from them. And I'm sure these things are important, if not just education and your employment. So we should be moving on those things as well. Apart from this thing, we should be taking care of health, like going for routine exercise, going for routine physical activity, instead of just being in front of TV. There's a new term, in fact, that's called as computer vision syndrome. So most of the time we are on computers, seeing computer for almost like um, continuously 5 to 6 hours, which causes dryness of eyes. So they have health problem for that as well. In fact, my mentor is Dr. Clare. So who still at the age of above 65, he is doing almost like 35 to 40 kilometers of cycling every day, almost every day, to keep himself fit, which also helps in keeping a work-life balance. So we are mentally strong in that way. So that all things needs to be done in a holistic manner. So that's what I need to say now for this meeting. So anything else you want to discuss? We are open to the moderator panel.
Yes, the panel is now open for questioning. If anyone has any queries, please do ask. You
I
can
would like to
send.
yeah, sorry. I would like to
Yeah,
ask
if
one question. Hello, I am audible?
yes.
Yes.
Okay. So the very important thing you have, Dr. Sanjay, you have raised, like we all are on in front of the laptops, desktop, and all the things. So we have the problems with the eyes. So this is all. This is nowadays a new normal, and also one of the important point of stress. So what do you suggest? How one should behave in front of maybe laptop, desktop, or whatever, and maybe mobile. So what is your suggestions to be healthy?
So that's a good question actually. So the thing should be we should have a good posture. So it should not be we are keeping mobile or to very close to our eyes. It should have some distance. And in fact, in front of the eyes, not like very bottom, we have to see it like this, or we have to uh, see very like awkward manner. It should be in front of the eyes, so which gives less strain to the eyes. And secondly, also we have something called as blue filter, so that we can avoid harmful radiations. Those who are working on computer for long, those who it's their job, they have to work somehow, so they have to have some sort of a filter in front of the eyes to give better protection to their eyes. And what I would suggest is take rest in between. not to go for like long hours, 4 to 5 hours. So there is a rule called as 10-10-10. For if you are walking for 10 minutes, so take at least a break of 10 seconds in between and keep yourself good hydrated. So keep yourself well hydrated. So that will be keeping yourself like in a good condition and prevent your eye from dryness. So this all can happen from the dryness of the eyes.
Thank you, sir.
And what about some if like there is a dryness in the eyes, like I don't have to wear the spectacles, but after when the COVID start, I have to wear the spectacles, and doctor advised me like, okay, you have to have some eye drops and wear it. So this is the like bad effect of this COVID.
Yeah, we still don't know. We are still learning about how's the COVID responding to us. So there may be various things which we still don't know, which may evolve in the near future. So one of these things could be this thing, but I'm not sure for that. Like how's dryness? It may be more just like incidental finding because we have been using more of a WebEx meeting or these meetings during the COVID times, and our computer use have obviously increased. So that may cause some dryness of eye as well.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.
So, Dr. Saab, can you
Sir,
highlight some important practices by which we can actually, have a better blood circulation? Because what I've seen is because of low blood circulation, our eyes also, get affected, our brain also gets affected, and we have been sitting for long hours during the COVID period.
Yes, yes, that's a good question actually. So what we should do is at least making a point to move at least 10 minutes in an hour, not to sit continuously for long hours. That obviously will have some sort of problems in your legs. There are higher chances of getting blood clots. So we should move at least 10 minutes in each hour. And secondly, we should keep ourselves very well hydrated. We should go for a routine physical exercise. Yes, it's not possible in the COVID times to go outside. So what we can do is whatever possible in the home itself, we can do some sort of light exercise and take good food as well. That is very important. So what we have seen in the COVID times that everyone is eating a lot of food just when sitting at home, just eating a lot of junk food. So try to have a healthy food, eat more of a green vegetables, avoid oily food, and go for a routine physical exercise. So it's not necessary that you have to go to the park or somewhere. You can do at home as well. So maybe just normal hand pulling or just leg pulling. This sort of exercise also helps.
right, sir. Thank you. Sir, I also had a question. In the situations that cause us to go furious, like for example, a couple of days ago, I was not at home and there was about 3 hour traffic jam, which made me very furious. So in those conditions, when we are very stressed, what should we do to calm ourselves?
First of all, we have to keep ourselves and try to be calm in any situation. Because if we are not calm, that will lead to health problems like increase in hypertension. So as well as your blood sugars will go up. So we have to try ourselves to keep calm in any scenario. What we can do is keep trying it. So do some sort of meditation, yoga. So that will help in keeping ourselves cool. This coconut needs to be cool. That's the main thing. So anyhow, you have to keep it cool. So my suggestion would be to do yoga, meditation, whatever possible you can do, and take less stress.
Thank you, sir.
So, how do you basically identify medically that a person is stressed, or he should go for stress medication, or should he go for counseling or any medical procedures or maybe medication?
That's a very good and important question, actually. See, as our all organs get disease, similarly, our brain also get disease. See, someone has this is a very bad situation in India, actually. So we don't think whatever we see, if someone has a brain disease, we say, "No, ye to pagal hai, we don't go for a doctor. So mental hospital, we don't go." So that should be the reason, actually. So similarly, like heart has some disease, lung has some disease. Similarly, brain also has some disease, which unknowingly or knowingly we are not aware of it. So when someone is stressed, is not taking his meals properly, is getting some diseases which are not found through any other reason, don't have any other reason. So his blood pressure is getting increased for no reason. Then it is a good idea to consult a doctor. Then they can tell whether it is an organic disease like disease of any organ or specifically for any psychological problem which needs some sort of counseling. If we found by the all ways out, like yes, suppose a person has hypertension, we found there is no other obvious reason for having this hypertension, then counseling sometimes helps by a psychologist or a psychiatrist. And then those medicines can be started to decrease the effect of your lifestyle, which we have.
Do we have any other questions?
Okay. There is also one question like for small kids. तो क्या है कि जनरली आजकल बच्चे सारे ऑनलाइन क्लासेस कर रहे हैं और सुबह से शाम तक बेचारे सुबह जैसे 8 बजे से अगर क्लासेस है तो 12 बजे तक रेगुलर चलती है। तो बच्चे भी क्या होता है मतलब वो शो तो नहीं कर पाते, स्ट्रेस्ड हैं बट दे बिहेव लाइक एबनॉर्मल।
यस,
तो उनके लिए क्या सजेशंस है आपके पास?
सिमिलरली एक तो उन पे बहुत प्रेशर करें कि यही करना है। Secondly, try to take in between, not to have a continuous sessions. Like if they are sitting for 4 hours, as I discussed previously, to have some sort of rest in between. And whenever they are staring at the computer screen, so they should be guided that they have to be away from the screen for some seconds even. So not to watch continuously, and they have to do their laptop or mobile, whatever, doing from some sort of distance, at least 20 feet. So that will protect their eyes as well. So that will help getting less strain on their eyes as well as stress. They should have some gap in between different sessions. Suppose they have class, so they have suppose 5 or 6 classes. So in between each class, they should have some sort of 5-10 minutes break. Even when you used to be in school, so there was a change of teacher. So that used to be like a 5 minutes break. Similarly, that can be on the online mode as well. So to give them some sort of rest.
Right, sir. We do have a question from the chat box, and it's from K Nagarajan. It says, "Stress come like do you find a relationship between lack of moral value and stress? So, is there a relationship that you find between lack of moral
Your
values
voice
and
is not
stress?"
audible to me. Can you please speak louder?
The question is that do you find a relationship with lack of moral value and stress?
I'm not able to hear you.
I'm able to hear
Hello.
him. Yeah.
Hello.
Maybe something wrong with your instrument. Because I'm able to hear it.
Okay. So I will ask. There is Dr. K Nagarajan. So he asked, stress comes from the trust of desire of parents and elders. हेलो।
मेरे ख्याल से वो कुछ नेटवर्क में दिक्कत है। ये लेकिन बहुत सही बात कही है। इनफैक्ट आई वुड से दैट मोर देन फिजिकल रीजंस द मिलेनियल्स गेट स्ट्रेस बिकॉज ऑफ पेरेंटल डिजायर्स, extensive competition, and maybe pampering them, so that you pamper them so much, maybe because they're not able to devote time on them. Many times both are working, and in order to make up for that psychological, they will try to pamper him, and so much so that they are unwilling to take no as a possible answer for anything. And obviously it causes stress to my mind. Therefore the value system and the parental sort of mentoring of the children at that stage and maybe parents themselves are under stress, and obviously it gets transferred, like heat transfer. You also have stress transfer. And therefore, to me, those are factors which are more than the physical reason. I don't think physical reason that walking, because kids anyway exercise much more their body compared to us. Therefore, to me, is the mental stress and the kind of an unhealthy competition, unreasonable desire from parents, and maybe an extensive pampering, particularly of the nucleus, society, family. You have one or two children, and therefore you can't just afford to see him angry. And technology has made it much worse when they're clutched to the social media devices. And I think all those are real, becoming almost like pandemic.
Yeah, perfectly right. Perfectly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there is a one Prince Radha Gupta ji. He वो बोले, sir, do you find a relationship with lack of moral values and stress? So she wants to know, like, is there any relationship with lack of moral values and stress? Yes, sir.
मेरे हिसाब से तो डायरेक्ट रिलेशनशिप है. और इसीलिए एक्चुअली मैंने आपको बताऊं मॉरल वैल्यूज की, मेरा जो इनफैक्ट सिंस वी आर नॉट एबल टू हैव मच ऑफ इंटरेक्शन फ्रॉम our guests, so we need to at least to me, one fundamental reason which I've been saying, and since it's a forum where I should also be able to convey one single reason for all the problems that we are seeing in the society today is the moral degradation of the moral values. And for that I have evolved I call it value grade, concern for self and concern for others. If you look at this grade, many of us somehow are groomed in a manner where utmost concern for self and very little concern for others. This indeed leads to cutthroat individualism, cutthroat competition, taking somebody else's share, and therefore all this distortion can only be handled. And the best way to get started is at the childhood stage, where values, at the time we introduce it in a higher education, it's a damage control, where a real formation takes place. To me, parents and the society has a role to play in ensuring that this utmost concern for self and very little concern for others, which to my mind is the root cause of most problems and stresses. So there is a direct relationship between stress and the degradation or distortions in the moral values. That question asked is, to my mind, is a very relevant one.
Yep. Yes, sir. Perfectly right. Sir, there is also like situations comes like because like every like in this present COVID situation, everybody is at home, so they are not being socializing from like 2 years, and from that also, I think stress is the important part of their life, because they are not socializing, they are not talking with their friends, they are not talking with their family, other things like that.
No, even family members are stressed during this period.
Yes. So this I think in this thing, the NEEV NCU chapter plays a very important role. Like
see, that's one reason. You see, in NCU, it might interest you, Dr. Verma, because actually, when I was Vice Chancellor UP Technical University Lucknow, I was first one to introduce in that university, but later on said a compulsory course on human values and professional ethics. And nobody will get the degree BTech, MBA, B Pharma, etc., without going through that course, Human Values, Professional Ethics. We developed a textbook with Professor R.R. Gaur from IIT Delhi as one of the co-authors. And then I made that compulsory course here too. There are 7-8 other technical universities which are now made that. So the reason before for that was that the kind of cutthroat individualism and competitive examinations and who gets the grade, there's an enormous distortion in values. And technological knowledge without values can be disastrous for the society, because all that cyber crime and fraud and all that you are looking for is using technology for the for hoodwinking the society, not for the good of the mankind, which is the ultimate purpose of technology. तो ये बहुत जरूरी है, इसी को ध्यान में रखते हुए हमने we took a very good initiative some 4 years back. It started a thought lab in NCO with the help of Brahma Kumaris. We have a thought lab, because actually all this begins from the thought. Thought leads to action, action leads to habits, habits leads to all that you see in this. Therefore, thought lab, and a lot of appreciation. The idea was to de-stress our students who are under stress for a variety of reasons, and perhaps going through the thought lab, gives them some kind of a calming effect, and it has demonstrated to be. I would suggest that almost every higher education must take initiative, because we need to de-stress our people. Secondly, many times stress causes stress. We need to also de-stress our teachers. Sometimes they are under themselves very heavy stress, and the only way to de-stress themselves to stress the students more than they ought to. So perhaps stress, to my mind, is a pandemic. Not only millennial, but almost everybody is infected by it. We need to find a solution, because a stress up to a small limit, stress might help. But if it crosses a limit, it becomes dangerous and almost dysfunctional. So I think it's a very good topic. I was looking for Dr. Claire. It seems he's not been able to make it. Otherwise, we are also looking for his in a great wisdom on this issue. Never mind. So okay, we at least had a forum to have some deliberations on it.
Yeah, definitely. So there is a one situation last year, maybe last year, when there is a famous personality called there is an actor Sushant Rajput, and he committed so he committed suicide. तो जब मैं उसे देख रहा था कि भाई वो उसने क्यों करा है, कैसे करा है, तो कुछ मेरे को लगा कि भाई उसमें शायद उस टाइम एक पीक टाइम आता है जब आपके पास अगर कोई आप किसी से शेयर कर लो अपनी थॉट,
सही बात,
तो वो चीज निकल जाती है, बट एट दैट टाइम देयर वाज नोबडी विद हिम, सो दैट्स व्हाई उसका जो पीक टाइम था वो कंटिन्यूअस रहा और वो उसने लीड करा टुवर्ड्स द डेथ. तो
बिल्कुल ये बहुत जरूरी है. पर्सन under depression needs company, and that too a company which is more counseling type and handholding type. I think it's extremely important. This is happening, in fact, even IIT Delhi and almost every other IIT. Once at least 1 to 2 suicides every year is taking place, and it's so painful to realize that an IIT for which you almost ruin your childhood to get admitted to. Once getting admitted to IIT system, you then feel so much disgusted with it, so that you take such an extreme. So it's a really, and in any case, 70 to 75% of the physical ailments are primarily psychosomatic diseases. They start in the brain, in the mind, in a thought.
Yes, definitely. Dr. Sanjay Sharma, can you comment on that? Dr. Sanjay ji. I think there is a technical problem with him. Okay, so सर आपसे ही एक और चीज थोड़ा सा पूछना था कि जैसे हम लोग जनरली जाते हैं कहीं मतलब अभी तो नहीं जा रहे हैं बाहर घर से बाहर, बट जैसे अगर सड़क पे अगर कहीं जाते हैं और कोई एक बच्चा मिल जाता है हमें और हम उसे आइसक्रीम ही पकड़ा देते हैं या कुछ टॉफी दे देते हैं, तो उसके जो फेस पे जो स्माइल होती है वो कितनी अच्छी स्ट्रेस बस्टर होती है. कमेंट वो होता है.
Actually, by giving, when you give to somebody genuinely needy, it comes back to you in way of distressing you and making you more happy. So that, as you said, that whatever you give comes back with the interest. It's your example of that you're giving. Not only that person, there's a glow. Even a person who gives also feels more comfortable. When you see somebody so happy, even you feel happy, and therefore I'm sure it helps. Definitely, helping others, is helping ourselves. If you give a helping hand to someone, then indirectly you also get benefited in the process, definitely.
तो एक्चुअली हमारा जो नीव है सर, उसका उद्देश्य भी यही है कि हम लोग जब ऐसे एरियाज में जाते हैं, काम करते हैं कि जो स्लम एरिया है जहाँ पे कोई एटलीस्ट 2 मिनट खड़ा रहना भी पसंद नहीं करेगा, तो हमें लगता है कि हाँ भाई वहाँ पे एक इतना स्ट्रेस रिलीफ मिलता है कि हमें लगता है जी जी जी
Very true, very true. That's why I mean it's a very laudable initiative taken, and perhaps I hope it will one day multiply to a much larger scale. Because right now, as I noticed, your activities seem to be confined around Meerut.
Yes. But we have opened various chapters, and we are working with
So let's hope that it spreads across, because the need is universal. In fact, almost every, and about 30 to 40% of the population in villages who are really truly deprived, and you cannot make a country great without lifting them up, in terms of their economic, educational, and social background. Definitely, they need to.
सर जैसे आप जी आपको तो काफी एक्सपीरियंस है. यू हैव बीन द फाउंडर डायरेक्टर ऑफ आईटी रुड़की एज वेल एज यूपीटीयू के डायरेक्टर भी रहे हैं. तो आपको कैसा फील होता है कि भाई जैसे बच्चे आते हैं, स्टूडेंट्स आते हैं, तो कुछ ना कुछ प्रॉब्लम्स लेके आते होंगे आपके पास, तो आपको क्या फील होता है कि भाई उनकी जैसे जेन्युइन प्रॉब्लम्स भी होती हैं?
तो एक्चुअली स्टूडेंट्स की प्रॉब्लम मैं तो देख रहा हूँ ना. मैंने 68 से पढ़ाना शुरू करता है आईटी दिल्ली में. In 1968 I became lecturer. तो even the kind of stress that तब से अगर टाइम सीरीज एनालिसिस करूं, आज के बच्चे जो हैं और उस टाइम के बच्चों में जमीन आसमान का फर्क है. उनकी वैल्यूज में, एटीट्यूड्स में, इवन द डिग्री ऑफ स्ट्रेस. ये बच्चे जो आते हैं आजकल, दे आर ऑलरेडी ओवर स्ट्रेस, बिकॉज वो दाखिले लेने के टाइम पे सारी शक्तियां खत्म हो जाती हैं उनकी. 2-3 साल जो कोचिंग में, कोटा में, या पेरेंट्स आर अंडर स्ट्रेस. तो हमने कई बार, मुझे लगता है कि दिस इज नीड फॉर सोशल ऑडिट ऑफ आईटी सिस्टम, कि हमने एक तरफ से आपको इसको ऐसे बना दिया है कि आईटी में नहीं आए तो क्या कयामत आ जाएगी, और आईटी में आ गए तो बस और कुछ करने की जरूरत नहीं है. Maybe that by the time they enter IT system, they are already tired.
जी.
और ये कारण है, इसको बहुत सीरियसली सोचने की आवश्यकता है हम लोगों को, कि why should we make our admission to IT system or such a thing that it causes stress all around. मेरे हिसाब से तो अगर इसको स्ट्रेस के एनालिसिस करिए, तो आईटी के एडमिशन के कारण जो स्ट्रेस पैदा होता है, it perhaps could be one of the very top notch ranking in the stress factor. क्योंकि दाखला तो 2 या 3% को मिलेगा, कितनी मेहनत कर लो. और 97% people get disappointed, dejected and disappointed. तो कोई ना कोई हमें देखना होगा. और ये कारण है कि ये बच्चे आते हैं, वो थके हो जाते हैं by the time they enter the system. They are already fatigued because of the preparation to get into system. Parents are fatigued. और इसको हमें सोचने की आवश्यकता है कि as an IT, since your NEEV is IT alumni initiative, even IT alumni should, and I being one of them, we should really permit, is that the kind of purpose for which IT systems were created? Not to stress people, और बच्चे आके इतने दुखी हो जाएं कि वो ऐसा एक्सट्रीम स्टैंड ले लें, तो कोई ना कोई उनको कुछ परेशानी रही होगी उनको.
जी. बेसिकली मैं भी एक बार सोच रहा था कि जैसे आपने बताया कि जो एक टाइम बीइंग होता है कि भाई उस टाइम पे अगर हम किसी बच्चे को अच्छे से उसे मेंटर कर पाए, तो वो काफी उसे स्ट्रेस रिलीफ मिल सकता है. तो
एब्सोल्युटली very sympathetic ears and shoulders are needed. जो वही कर सकता है जो उसके अंदर वो इमोशंस हैं मदद करने की.
So Dr. Sharma is here. So in medical point of view, आप कैसे देखते हैं इस स्ट्रेस को सर?
देखिए, मेडिकल पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से स्ट्रेस एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट चीज है कि जो वी शुड नॉट हैव. एक्चुअली स्ट्रेस की वजह से हमें कई सारी हेल्थ प्रॉब्लम होना बहुत जल्दी हो जाती हैं, जो यूजुअली अगर हम नॉर्मल हेल्थी लाइफस्टाइल दें तो वो स्ट्रेस बीमारियां बहुत देरी से होती हैं, बट वो आजकल यंगस्टर्स में मिल जा रही हैं. जैसे आपने देखा होगा अभी हाल फिलहाल में एक्टर जो रिसेंट डेथ हुई थी उसकी, 30-40 साल की एज में डेथ हुई थी। तो वो सब स्ट्रेस इंड्यूस है मोस्टली। तो उनमें लोग स्ट्रेस की वजह से कार्डियक प्रॉब्लम हो जाती हैं, हाइपरटेंशन हो जाता है, शुगर की प्रॉब्लम शुरू हो जाती हैं। तो दैट शुड बी टेकन एट अ वेरी अर्ली स्टेज। As Professor Prem already said, these are habits which need to be inculcated in kids. तो वहीं पे उन्हें स्ट्रेस मैनेजमेंट बताना कि इस चीज के लिए बहुत ज्यादा टेंशन नहीं लेना है, बहुत ज्यादा नहीं सोचना है, वो चीजें करनी बहुत जरूरी है सोसाइटी में। ये सिर्फ एक से नहीं हो सकता, पूरा एक हैबिट फॉर्मिंग चीजें हैं। और एक बार वो जब हैबिट बन जाए, वो आगे चेंज होकर बहुत जल्दी बीमारी पकड़ती हैं। So that needs to be taken at early stage. Stress management is a very important thing. It needs to be done.
जी डेफिनेटली।
अब आजकल जो है करियर बिल्डिंग का पेरेंट्स का काफी प्रेशर रहता है स्टूडेंट्स के ऊपर।
बिल्कुल।
So how really some tips for the parents so that they put less stress on their children, particularly to build their career in a particular direction, because I have seen one such case where the parents wanted the student to stay back in India and the student wanted to move abroad, and in this whole situation the student actually landed up committing suicide. So how can such situations be prevented by suitable counseling?
See, this is very unfortunate what happened, that the person has to do suicide. So that is not required at all. So we should not be forcing anyone to opt for any career. All the career are okay till the time the person is happy. It's not कि ये career बेकार है, इसके अंदर बेकार है, इसमें पैसा नहीं है, ये नहीं. We should not think in that way. It's more of a happy thing in which the person is happy and keeping himself healthy. वो सोसाइटी को भी अगर हेल्दी रहेगा तो ज्यादा अच्छा दे सकता है, rather than under a forced pressure is सपोज में जबरदस्ती करके इंजीनियर बना दिया, तो वो उसमें अच्छा कुछ भी नहीं दे पाएगा, कल को वही होगा, ब्रिज गिरेंगे, सब कुछ होगा। जैसे वो अगर हेल्दी काम करके अपना डांसर बन रहा है, कुछ भी और कर रहा है, व्हाटएवर ही वांट्स, इफ ही वांट्स टू गो अब्रॉड इन द प्रीवियस केस एज यू डिस्कस, सो ही विल बी एबल टू गिव हिज मोर इनपुट इन दैट केस। तो उसकी इफेक्टिविटी बढ़ जाएगी, स्ट्रेस नहीं होगा एंड हेल्दी ज्यादा अच्छा रहेगा वो। तो ऐसा नहीं कि पेरेंट्स को फोर्स करना है, इट शुड बी मोर ऑफ अ कलेक्टिव डिसीजन कि दोनों से बात करके कि व्हाट शुड बी, ही शुड बी गिवन ऑल द ऑप्शंस एक्चुअली, नॉट जस्ट वन थिंग कि हाँ भाई यही करना है, कि ये करने से ये फायदे हैं, ये करने के ये नुकसान है, ये करने से ऐसे होगा। तो ही शुड बी गिवन ऑल द ऑप्शंस, नॉट जस्ट वन थिंग। उसके बाद उसका डिसीजन रहे कि व्हाट ही वांट्स टू डू, नॉट जस्ट वन थिंग कि उस पर फोर्स करें कि हाँ यही बनना है तुझे।
Premnath sir, I would like to invite your comments and observations on.
नहीं, मैं तो पहले से कह रहा हूँ कि पेरेंट्स आर वन ऑफ द मेन कॉजर्स ऑफ द स्ट्रेस अमंग चिल्ड्रन। उनको ये जो है जबरदस्ती उसको बिना स्किल्स, you see they should be allowed to naturally develop in the strength area on their own. There's a force fit, जैसे हम खुद देख रहे हैं कि what's happening in even in the engineering institution, every parent is forcing a child to study only computer science and engineering.
Yes sir.
And whether उसके अंदर वो intention है कि नहीं, because they want a cozy life for that. मैकेनिकल इंजीनियरिंग में शॉप फ्लोर पे काम होगा, सिविल इंजीनियरिंग में फील्ड में जा सकता हो। इस टाइप का प्रोटेक्शनिज्म अगर बच्चे में इसी लेवल का होगा, एंड एज ए रिजल्ट वेदर काबिलियत है कि नहीं कंप्यूटर साइंस में, या उस टाइप का जेन्युइन रुझान है कि नहीं, वी आर फोर्सिंग and that compulsion is distorting even education system. Now colleges are having a tremendously distorted admissions, where unusually large number of computer science admissions are taking place, and in a way even that will get eroded in times to come when we are not able to deliver quality. So a balanced approach is required, और उसके लिए जरूरी कि बच्चे के जो natural abilities हैं, somebody is good in being in mechanical, उसका mind mechanical system में ज्यादा चलता है, forcing him to do mathematics may not work, or forcing to do something. So the parental indirectly होता क्या है कि parents try to impose their unrealized dreams on their children. If they could do something in their life, बच्चे को जबरदस्ती फोर्स करके उधर उसे ये पढ़, ये कर, वहां जा, जो आर्टिफिशियल कंपटीशन की जो भावना है बच्चों में, प्लस दूसरा क्या है, दिस टेंडेंसी कि हर जो हमारे फॉर एग्जांपल, अब जैसे मेरा ड्राइवर है, उसका बच्चा भी जो वसंत कुंज के जो स्कूल में पढ़ता है, और ये बेचारा मुश्किल से अपना गुजारा चला रहा है। कैन इमेजिन हाउ मच व्हाट कैन ए ड्राइवर लेकिन बच्चे को दाखला वो भी ऐसी जगह दिया वहां पे बर्थडे के दिन बड़ी बड़ी ऊंची ऊंची चीजें लाते हैं बच्चे को। तो मैंने तो इसको एडवाइस करा कि तुम समझते हो कि वहां बच्चे को जबरदस्ती डाल के यू आर ऑलमोस्ट मेकिंग हिम एट पार विद देम, यू आर एक्चुअली डिस्टॉर्टिंग हिज वैल्यूज। हमें अपनी परिस्थिति समझनी चाहिए। और मैं तो मानता हूँ, मैं तो गांव के स्कूल का पढ़ा हुआ हूँ, बता रहा हूँ। मैं छठी क्लास में ABCD सीखी और हिंदी में 12वीं क्लास पास करी यूपी बोर्ड से, फिर IIT खड़गपुर में JEE में आई वाज 11th ऑल इंडिया रैंक। तो मेरा कहने का मतलब है कि ये मानसिकता कि सिर्फ पब्लिक स्कूल में या उसमें जाके आपका बच्चा होना, ये है पेरेंट्स में तो मेरे हिसाब से बच्चों में स्ट्रेस तो तब बंद हो, पहले पेरेंट्स का स्ट्रेस दूर करना चाहिए।
Yes, sir.
To my mind, is an important causal variables in the stress causing mechanism. किसी और के नकल उसका बच्चा फर्स्ट आया, तुम क्यों नहीं आए? अब एक ही तो बच्चा फर्स्ट आ सकता है कि उसके अंदर ये इसके 1 नंबर कम आ गए, 2 नंबर कम आ गए। Instead of a balanced development in the personality profile, where to my mind it is a balanced holistic development which should be the focus, not on on absolutely marks driven or this, and that to this cutthroat competitive process. To me, this competition perhaps is the जो इवन एडमिशन के टाइम में कंपटीशन, जॉब्स के लिए भी इवन कैंपस प्लेसमेंट के लिए कंपनी आती है, वो कहती है कि जब तक आप 250 बच्चों का नहीं PPT करवाओगे हम नहीं आएंगे ना। एवरीबॉडी इज ट्राइंग टू हैव इकोनॉमी ऑफ स्केल, लेकिन उस प्रोसेस में कितना फ्रस्ट्रेशन बच्चों को। 250 में से अगर 5 ही सेलेक्ट करे आपने तो 245 तो दुखी कर दिए उस दिन। हमें ये भी सोचने की बात है कि हम एक नैरो शॉर्ट साइटेड मायोपिक पर्सपेक्टिव में समाज में जो दुख दे रहे हैं वो उस टू माय माइंड देखो, टू मी स्ट्रेस इज अ फिनोमिनन कॉज्ड बाय वेरियस पीपल एंड द रियल विक्टिम्स आर द मिलेनियल्स, कि उनकी पूरी जिंदगी पड़ी है।
Sir, there is a question in the chat box. Availer of education loans now are not able to get jobs often and they feel stressed. So,
Yeah, that's true.
So how
Yes, it's
can
very obvious.
yes,
See, there are two possibilities. एक तो they get stressed because they're not able to pay, और ऊपर से अगर वही करने वाले आके अब रोज डंडा चलाएंगे तो there's an additional cause of stress. और तीसरा है कि नहीं देंगे, अगर लोन नहीं देंगे तो आत्मा कहीं ना कहीं परेशान होगी अंदर से, और अंदर से आत्मा परेशान है तो स्ट्रेस है। तो देखो कायदे से वी शुड आल्सो, इसके लिए तो नेशनल पॉलिसी जैसे उसका है ऑस्ट्रेलिया में, क्योंकि आपने रेज किया है क्वेश्चन, इसी लुक एट द पॉलिसी इन ऑस्ट्रेलिया वेयर you get a loan for studying whatever you want to study wherever, with the condition that you'll only start paying once you get a job. And not only that, the structure is so beautifully worked out कि आपको कुछ आपकी जैसे इनकम टैक्स कटता है तनख्वाह में से, ऑटोमेटिकली तनख्वाह में से आपकी सैलरी में से ए पोर्शन कीप्स ऑन गो, तो उसको पता ही नहीं रहता। लेकिन जब तक नौकरी नहीं है, जब तक नो पेमेंट ऑफ रिट, अनलेस यू स्टार्ट अर्निंग हाउ कैन यू पे। तो उस टाइप की नेशनल पॉलिसी अगर हमारे पास हो तो बहुत कुछ हद तक ये प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व हो सकती है। And Australia has this policy.
So there is another comment in the chat box. So Corona could help positive effect, could have positive effect since parents got plenty of time to spend with their children and could provide counseling for getting rid from problems. So this is one.
देखिए ऐसा है कि इम्पल्स लोडिंग से थोड़ी काम चलता है सडनली। अभी तक तो कई दिन हो जाते थे, हफ्ते में मिलते हैं 2 दिन के लिए, अब 24 घंटे मिल रहे हैं। आई थिंक these two extremes don't compensate for each other.
Yes, sir, I agree, sir. I agree.
उससे और भी प्रॉब्लम होती है, सारे दिन 24 घंटे साथ साथ है, तो देयर इज ग्रेटर डिग्री ऑफ इन्वॉल्व इन सॉर्ट ऑफ इंट्रूजन इन देयर लाइफ। तो वो भी इज नॉट ए डिजायरेबल सिनेरियो है, वो कंपल्सन है। लेट्स नॉट मेक कोरोना एज ए न्यू नॉर्मल। मेरे हिसाब से दिस वाज न्यू एबनॉर्मल एंड होपफुली इट विल वैनिश सून।
So Dr. Vaibhav, you are there. There's a question for you. So any positive side of stress, if there is any, you can highlight.
Yes, definitely. Stress is unnecessary as well.
Yeah, that's true.
अगर हम स्ट्रेस ही काम नहीं कर पाएंगे,
Yeah, true.
stress can be taken as motivation as well. कि yes,
Yeah, that's true.
हमें ये काम
That's true.
करना है, but it should not be at a very high level that you cannot be able to do anything. So it has to be till a level you can do your work. That is also necessary. But after that, it's a break-even point. You have to realize your break-even point.
Yeah, true.
So
I think there are studies there. Actually, there are. It's like an inverted convex curve. Certain amount of stress is needed to move
yes, that
to something, but it reaches a peak. और उससे
yes.
अगर ज्यादा हो जाता है तो
Yeah.
then it almost destroys the person. We have to ensure that only marginal. See, I won't even call stress. I'll call it concern for performing. We'll show some concern, some commitment, some motivation. So instead of calling it stress, stress is a negative thing. Motivation to contribute, commitment to contribute is required, because बिना commitment और बिना motivation के तो आदमी कुछ करेगा नहीं.
Yes.
And therefore you can call it some limited stress if you wish, but to me it's motivation and commitment.
Mhm. True,
But
sir.
stress beyond a
Yeah.
point can be
Very
killing.
rightly said.
Hmm.
So stress is in both ways, like it has a positive as well as negative effects.
Yeah, true.
Positive is it gives you more of motivation.
Yeah,
But
that's
to a certain extent, you realize that yes, I have to do this work. Once you are overstressed, that becomes like your productivity goes down. So it should not be overstressed, but yes, the stress to somewhat level that you have to do your work.
That's true.
Otherwise, कोई ऑफिस ही नहीं आएगा, स्ट्रेस नहीं होगा तो कोई ऑफिस नहीं है, कोई काम ही नहीं होगा. थोड़ा सा और जरूरी भी है काम होने के लिए,
Yeah, that's true.
but it should not be to a point कि हो ही ना पाए.
Mhm.
If it motivates you to do something, then it helps
Mhm.
in a limited amount. That is true.
So there is one more question in the chat box. I don't know. It covers the umbrella which we are talking about. However, it says that many domestic violence cases have been, highlighted in the Corona times. So, what can be a suggested remedy for this? So, this is one of the questions that has been asked. So,
ठीक है.
या
Okay.
एक्चुअली ये जो डोमेस्टिक वायलेंस है, ये तो एक जैसे प्रेमर सर ने बताया कि आपकी मॉरल वैल्यूज क्या है, आपने कैसे अपनी जो परवरिश करी है उस पे ज्यादातर डिपेंड करता है. तो जो जी तो स्टार्टिंग से ही हम अगर बच्चों को अपना जैसे अगर किसी के यहाँ डोमेस्टिक वायलेंस हो रही है तो वो बच्चा भी क्या सीखेगा, वही चीज सीखेगा जो उसके घर में उसके माता पिता कर रहे हैं आपस में. तो इसीलिए कहते हैं कि जो हमें जहाँ पे रहते हैं वो एक सोसाइटी अच्छी होनी चाहिए, जहाँ पे हम पढ़ रहे हैं वो एक स्कूल, चाहे वो प्राइमरी स्कूल हो, गवर्नमेंट का स्कूल हो, बट वो उसके टीचर्स अच्छे होने चाहिए जो कि इन चीजों के मॉरल वैल्यूज के बारे में बता सकें. और क्योंकि जैसे बच्चा है वो 6 से 7 घंटे 8 घंटे वो स्कूल में बिताता है, बाकी टाइम घर पे ही बिताता है. तो अगर मोस्टली जो उसके पेरेंट्स है उसकी ही वैल्यूज उसके अंदर आती हैं, तो पेरेंट्स को यही चाहिए कि अगर मतलब कुछ भी ऐसी चीज है तो वो बच्चों के सामने एटलीस्ट ना करे, जिससे कि बच्चों में वो चीज इनकल्केट ना हो पाए.
सही बात, बिल्कुल, वेरी ट्रू, वेरी ट्रू. That's why I put parents in the center stage.
जी डेफिनेटली.
जो थोड़ा बहुत पहले टीचर हुआ करते थे, मैं तो गांव के स्कूल में पढ़ा हूँ, that impact it had on primary teachers on me still valid now. जो मैं क्योंकि जब अगर वो डांट भी देते थे, धमका भी देते थे, तो पेरेंट्स समझते थे हमारे बच्चे की भलाई के लिए कर रहा है.
बिल्कुल.
और अब आज की तारीख में अगर कोई टीचर की हिम्मत हो डांटने की तो अपनी कॉस्ट पे कर रहा है, वो पता नहीं वो. तो हम लोगों ने कुछ ज्यादा ही बच्चों को ऐसा माहौल दिया है, उससे स्ट्रेस बढ़ता है. मैं तो इसलिए पेरेंट्स को नंबर 1 मानता हूँ, जो उनकी वजह से ही सुधर सकता है मामला फर्स्ट. एंड दे आर द बिगेस्ट स्टेक होल्डर एनीवे. Nobody could be more interested in the future of their child and themselves. So to me, they should be integral part of the teaching learning process. मैं तो मानता हूँ पेरेंट्स को शिक्षा में इन्वॉल्व करना चाहिए, an important stakeholder.
Sir, there is one more important question. So it is in Hindi. तनाव है पर उसे सही नाम नहीं दे पाते, लेकिन लक्षण दिखाई देते हैं जैसे परेशानी, दुविधा, थकान महसूस करना आदि. इन सब का सामना कैसे किया जाए?
उन्हें हटा के तनाव को, और क्या. ये तो लक्षण है ना. इसी लक्षण इज एन इफेक्ट, कॉज इफेक्ट रिलेशनशिप. रिमूव द कॉज,
Yes.
Don't address symptoms of the problem, address the cause. तो now हटा दीजिए तो अपने आप लक्षण दूर हो जाएंगे.
So, Dr. Vaibhav, can you comment on this question जो अभी मैंने पूछा? Can I can repeat the question? Dr.
I
Vaibhav?
think there's some technical issues on
Okay.
his end.
रोहित, मेरी क्लास है IIT दिल्ली में ऑनलाइन, तो मुझे अब मैं बता देना मुझे
Okay, sir. Then I think we can wind up our session.
नहीं, you can continue, but I said that you know, since I have my lecture.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. This was indeed an informative webinar, and we all have learned a lot of lessons from today's session. Now, I would like to thank Dr. Weber for taking his time for us and helping us learn about such an important topic. I now thank our Honorable Pro Chancellor, Professor Prem Rath, and I would also like to thank Dr. Rohit Singh Lathar and Dr. Rupdesh Sharma for bringing in NEEV initiative to the North Cap University. Without them, this session wouldn't have been possible. At last but not least, I want to extend my thanks to all the attendees who were with us. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for being with us, taking out time from your busy schedule, sir.
Okay.
पार्टिसिपेंट से ये भी रिक्वेस्ट है कि अगर किसी को कोई कभी भी कोई स्ट्रेस हो तो डेफिनेटली नीव के किसी भी वॉलेंटियर से, नीव के किसी भी चैप्टर से वो बात कर सकते हैं. वहाँ के जो भी स्पीकर्स हैं उनसे बात कर सकते हैं. इवन हमें ईमेल भी कर सकते हैं कभी भी, एट एनी टाइम. और डॉक्टर वैभव जी है, उन्हें भी आप कांटेक्ट कर सकते हैं, कोई भी एडवाइस लेनी हो. डॉक्टर लाठर हैं, बाकी जो भी लोग हैं उनसे आप कांटेक्ट कर सकते हैं. और फीडबैक आपका हम लोगों को मिल गया है कि काफी लोग कह रहे हैं वंडरफुल सेशन, और इसके जो सर्टिफिकेट्स हैं हम लोग डेफिनेटली जल्दी ही आप लोगों को ईमेल और व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप पे और टेलीग्राम ग्रुप पे प्रोवाइड करा देंगे. तो बी इन टच, और हम लोग ऐसे ही कुछ वेबिनार्स और भी कराते रहेंगे. Now, Dr. Lathar.
Yeah. Dr.
Actually,
Clare
Dr.
has just sent his
Vaibhav
apologies. He could not attend the meeting.
Yeah. Yeah, I got to know.
Dr. Clare has just sent his apologies that he could not attend the meeting. He is busy in one acute MI patient who went into failure actually.
Yeah. So
he could not attend the meeting.
But thank you anyways.
Have to attend it next time whenever happens.
Yeah, definitely. We will have another session maybe in a couple of months or so. Then probably, medical emergency is more important than, delivering a talk. But we really appreciate you being here for us and delivering a talk, because, we really understand a medical emergency. I come from a background in, I have almost 8-9 doctors, medical doctors in my family. However, I am also a doctor, but I'm a PhD. But I do understand that. So, do PR regards from NEEV chapter and the North Cap University to Dr. Keller, and probably will hope to have another session in the time to come, maybe when he's available.
Sure, definitely.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
So thank you very much to all. Thank you.
You may now leave the meeting accordingly, sir.